One thing I think is going to be really great about Donald Trump is he's going to unabashedly defend Israel. I know people are getting tired of hearing pro-Israel and all that type of stuff, but let me tell you, the one I'm talking right now, nobody's paying me to do this. Nobody's paying me to say anything in particular. I'm not a politician or anything like that, and I can tell you I've been pro-Israel a long time. I know Israel doesn't do everything perfect, okay? It's not flawless, but it's a hell of a lot better than all the nations in that area by far. Um, Now, I just want to say that our former president, and he's going to be soon our former president, has not been a friend of Israel at all, and including I think our Secretary of State, Kerry. Hillary Clinton, she talks the line about being pro-Israel, but having a girlfriend who's in the Muslim Brotherhood and all that kind of stuff with connection to the Muslim Brotherhood, I highly doubt that. And knowing her record, she would throw Israel under the bus in a second flat, along with Kerry would do the same thing to Israel if it was in their political interest. I think Trump's the real deal on being pro-Israel. Now, it's a big disappointment in my mind that a lot of New York Jews did not vote for Donald Trump. I don't know why the hell that is, because I could see why New York Jews would not, or Jews in America would not vote for the Bush family, because Prescott Bush was involved with Nazi finances. That's really what the hell they're about. And Romney was all hooked in with the Bush family, but Trump is not. I don't get what the hell the deal is. I don't understand this. But if you took the vote in Israel, Trump would have won by a landslide. If you're taking true Israelis, okay? Now, I gotta say also, I used to work for his competitor many, many years ago before I was in the Marine Corps. And one of his main competitors was Leonard Stern, Stern family. Worked as a staff accountant in the main office. And I used to talk to his father, Max, when he was alive back in the 80s, early 80s, all the time. He was right in the adjacent office. I joined the Marine Corps partly to defend Israel besides idealistically, let me put it that way, besides the United States of America, besides all my family being in the military, going all the way back to 1776. And I went in there at the age 26 and 11 months, 1 month prior to the absolute maximum age, right from working at Hartz Mountain for Leonard Stern on Friday, when I left that day after working for a few years, right into boot camp on Monday. A lot of people wouldn't do that and take that cut in salary, and I went and enlisted. Because don't call me sir, I work for a living. So when I'm saying I'm pro-Israel, I'm pro-Israel. Okay, I'm not kidding around. Now I also have a lot of respect for Benjamin Netanyahu. I know I hear all on YouTube and all this garbage about. I'm like, you people are freaking picking up so much garbage information that there is a lot more bad information being spread around, not true, in other words, bad information being spread around about out of Israel, that it's getting overloaded with bad propaganda. And this is kind of like what happens, all along. I mean, it's like, there's an ebb and a flow. There's a time when Jews are riding on a high and everybody loves them, and then there's times that nobody likes them, and that's usually when there's bad economic times, because then they become the reason for the bad economic times. It's like the freaking Salem witch hunts or something. But I think Trump's going to do great with Israel, and that's another reason why. It's not the only reason I voted for him. Um, I just couldn't. I mean, if on the Democratic Party, if they put up Bernie Sanders, I still wouldn't have voted for Bernie Sanders, but Bernie Sanders probably would have won. Probably, because he was more of a populist candidate than Hillary Clinton. And I know they're doing stuff behind the scenes with the election and stuff. Now, if Jim Webb, you probably don't know who the hell he is, but he was the Vietnam hero. He was he had a Silver Star, highly decorated veteran. He used to be the Secretary of Navy. He's a former senator from Virginia and a Harvard fellow. If he was running on the Democratic Party, I would have voted Democratic. I would have. He was a candidate out there in Saturday Night Live. Had to poke fun at him and with their stupid little skits that weren't true. And it's like everybody thinks so I make light of the garbage too. I mean, I just put a video out and Hillary was open about her lesbianism and had dykes on bikes. People are taking that shit too serious because I didn't vote for her, man. I already know the deal. But the thing is, I do agree with Israel does belong to Jews. Period. I know that's more of a radical thing, to say that. And some people call it a radical thing, but it's a common sense thing. And what the hell is it? I mean, it's a Jewish state, right? So let it be for Jews. If somebody's not Jewish and they live there, well, they're not going to have the rights that Jews have. I mean, that's because it's a Jewish state. That's the way I think of it. And I know some people say, and even Jews will say, "Oh, that's Nazism or apartheid." I'm like, come on, man, it's a Jewish state, huh? I mean, I'm telling you to this. I'm saying this as an outsider, okay? A complete outsider. And that's another reason I don't think I'd ever be Jewish, because then they'd be saying you're a Jew. No matter what, no matter what you do, somebody would give you a lot of crap. Well, there's a reason I'm going to probably stay Catholic. It's because of the miracle at Fatima in October 17th, 1917. That's telling me something's up. I mean, that doesn't mean you got to be Catholic, but there's something with that. I mean, that's too much proof to me. I mean, the Bible doesn't prove enough to me with the New Testament and all that garbage. That doesn't prove enough to me, but that miracle at Fatima does. So that's where I'm coming from. Some people say that's not true, and I'm like, well, whatever. That's my opinion anyway. But otherwise, if it wasn't for that, I probably would be Jewish. But I don't. I'm not gonna. I'm not switching. But I got nothing. I got nothing against Jews in a million years, man. Because even if you're Catholic and you're thinking this is the right way, whatever the hell it is, it's the right way for you. It doesn't mean the Jews got the wrong way, for crying out loud. Everybody's got their own separate mission, So, and the other thing is, like, I can't believe that, Obama got all that support in the United States the last two times, especially, this is where I'll be critical of the Jewish community in America. Not all the Jewish community in America voted for Obama, and I know why they voted for Obama, because Jews are nice people and they want to help people, and Obama's more with the social programs, helping the poor and all that kind of stuff. I know that's great, but damn, he was not a friend of Israel. Man, this nuclear stuff with Iran. I mean, it wasn't over. Iran. I put this out. Iran, but I call it Iran. Okay, from New Jersey, but I put it out many times in videos, and I know I take a lot of heat from it, that, the nuclear program with Iran is so ludicrous. They got more freaking natural gas and oil. They'd be the last nation on this earth to run out of energy. They don't have any uranium. And on top of it, the nuclear program is so minuscule compared to if they just fixed their electrical infrastructure. They'd save way more power if they just fix and improve their electrical infrastructure than 10 nuclear programs would do. Then on top of it, their main trading partner, India, has one of the largest sources of thorium, which is safer and cheap and all that type of stuff. But they don't have thorium reactors. Reason everybody uses, the other type of uranium reactors is because it helps. It's one step closer to making weapons grade uranium. That's why nobody uses the thorium, and that's why Iran doesn't use the thorium reactors either. It would be cheaper. Wouldn't have to worry about the nuclear waste. Blah blah blah. But you know what the deal is. It's all about nuclear weapons. And if they got nuclear weapons, then Saudis got nuclear weapons. Oh, God, this bomb guy is bad news, man. So I gotta say, I stand with Israel all the way, and it's like my weapons are for Israel. If I'm gonna even say, when you're going back to the time when the Holocaust, and I don't know what the exact numbers are. I know there's disagreement, and I know if people whittle down to 6 million, the people that do that, they'll start compromising it down to like it never happened. So I don't really know what the numbers are. I know it was about a good 1/3 of the Jewish population in Europe was wiped out, and the Nazis intended to get rid of the rest of them. They weren't kidding around. I mean, the only reason they kept them alive was to work them for the war machine, and they didn't even feed them. Hardly at all. But the other thing is, we cooperated. The American government cooperated with former Nazis. Operation Paperclip. And people are thinking like, Jews control the world. Get the hell out of here. Jews don't control the world. If the Jews control the world, there wouldn't have been no Operation Paperclip. Huh? People don't think of this stuff. I mean, I don't get it, man. But I could tell you this, without even having, Auschwitz or whatever, if a Nazi or whatever it was, some government thug decides to, or whatever, it doesn't have to be government, it could be private thug, decides to go after Jewish people, before they even deprive them of anything, any kind of liberty, their belongings, their freedoms, I'd say waste them. I mean, you don't even have to go to the camp. You know what I mean? Before you do that, fight back, and that's the problem. I mean, I guess you got to be low key about it. I mean, that's one thing. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about some other things too with the JDL in a minute. But here's another thing: Jewish loss of land from thousand years before the Common Era, before Christ. I call it before Christ. I don't call it before the Common Era. I mean, they got into that political before the Common Era. Like I still call it before Christ. Hey, whatever. Anyway, so to 2013, right? Ancient Jewish kingdom. That's what Israel ought to be. You know, it ought to be like bigger, twice as big, real big. You know, and that Dome of the Rock thing, get rid of it. I'm serious, man. I wouldn't hesitate, man. You wouldn't want me to. Well, you know what? I wouldn't hesitate. I'm like, I look at that stuff and I see, looking at the other side of the wall, what's over there? Yeah, right. Gone. Kaputs. Done. That's why I always respected the Emperor Julian, the apostate, quote unquote. Christians call him that. But if he lived, he didn't die fighting. He didn't die in battle fighting the Persians in 363 A.D. of the Common Era, if you want to call it that. The Second Temple would have been rebuilt years ago. Back then, he would have done it. He would have kicked the Persians' ass. I mean, I am pro-Israel, man, and it's like. Well, to tell you the truth, I worked for a lot of guys that were Jewish entrepreneurs, even like Jim Pugash indirectly. I mean, he died at a very young age, 53 of pancreatic cancer, unfortunately. Boy, if I'd have knew all that stuff I know about health back then, maybe I could have told him what to do. But, when I worked for these guys, though, I could tell you one thing. I give them twice as much in effort and labor than what they pay me. I'm not out there to suck up as much money. Like I know there's people out there that brown nose the shit out of Jews for money, blow smoke up their ass. I work extremely hard, and I give double what in work and performance than what they pay me, man. I'm like, and you know what? I'll stick my neck out, telling them some shit they don't want to hear, and that don't help me all the time. But in the long run, it kind of works out because that's what happens. People respect you, but. Here's another guy I respect. Just the guy that actually formed the Jewish Defense League, Rabbi Kahane. This guy I respect like crazy, and it's like there's a lot of good stuff actually on YouTube, but there's a lot of his speeches. And I was surprised, and like there's one channel that's posting a lot of stuff. I should put that channel. Maybe if somebody's interested in looking at it. I forgot about the 900 Jews that tried to get out of Germany right before the Holocaust, and they went on a ship, and the only country that would take them was Cuba. Then at the last minute, they wouldn't take them, and then Franklin Delano Roosevelt wouldn't allow them to come in because he says, "Did we already hit our quota of Germans?" I was like, "Holy shit!" This is why you don't freaking obey every stupid rule out there, man. I would have took, just hit the beaches and tell them some bullshit, and you. Go hide. Go build a log cabin or some shit. I mean, really. Hey, screw it, man. I mean, you got to break some rules once in a while, man, if you're going to freaking survive. That's the only way there is to it. This guy I respect a lot. And actually, this guy I respect, after, the rabbi was killed, Kahane was killed. He was murdered, right, by, an Arab, whatever he was, right? Then came along Irv Rubin, right? And, Irv Rubin is 100% pro-USA, man. This guy, he volunteered for Vietnam and all that type of stuff, unlike our President Clinton, which he didn't. He was a draft dodger. Even though Irv originally was a Canadian citizen. I miss those days when people were like, yeah, we're going to fight. Nobody's like, I get what it is. Like, a lot of non-Jews are saying, we're sick of hearing about the Holocaust. I guess if you say it too much, it does not help, right? To say it too much, but I think Irv had it right. Well, I think especially Rabbi Kahane actually really had it right more than anybody. The deal is probably the smartest way to have a JDL Jewish Defense League is probably just be low key. I think every Jew ought to be armed to the teeth because they got enough intelligence and honor and integrity that I totally trust them with all kinds of weapons, man. I don't give a shit. They're fine. They're fine. They're good people. And they're not quick to anger like normally. Much. I mean, not everybody's fucking perfect. You know what I mean? There's somebody's going to be, but normally, no, no, not at all, not at all. They're very rational people. And I'm not taking it. I don't say this because I read in the Bible that the Jewish people are the chosen people, and I read that in the Bible. I know some people are like real evangelist Christians, and they say, "Well, that's what's in the Bible." I'm really using is logic, common sense, just rational thinking, and I observe what Jewish people have done on this earth. As a group, they have been a guiding light for humanity. That's really what it is. Not everybody's perfect. I know that. And everybody's different, right? There's a big divergent opinion on what this is and what that is and whatever. I mean, everybody's the same. I guess the big fault of Irv was like too much media attention. Again, it looks like, I guess he's more low key, but he was killed, murdered. He was by I think the government, to tell you the truth. I don't think it was an Arab guy or nothing. I think it was the government, man. He was in prison on trumped up BS charges, and day before his trial, which would have exonerated him, he probably would have sued the hell out of the freaking government for false imprisonment and stuff. Supposedly he commits suicide by slicing his neck and climbing over this huge balcony and landing head first by being dropped by the feet. Yeah, right. That's just sick. And I'm like, I don't know, man. This shit is ridiculous, man. This Rabbi Kahane is like, he's like a hero, man, and so is Irv, and I can tell you right now, man, I do respect a lot of Jews, man. Trump's going to get along fine with Netanyahu. Netanyahu, I respect, man. He's been in the military. He's been in the fighting. He knows what the shit's about, right? He knows what the deal is. And actually, he's a pretty, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, if I was, that's the thing, if I was Jewish, man, I'd probably be freaking more extreme than anybody. And in a lot of ways, maybe I can get away with that because I'm not Jewish, right? you know? And it's like nobody's paying me to do this shit. And that's really the way it is, because as soon as anybody pays me and they tell me what to do, I don't like doing it. I don't want to do it. I do it out of my own free will. And like I says, I already figured out what Jews are about, not because some line in the Bible said something. It's just rational thinking, common sense, deductive reasoning. I could see it, what it is. I could see, what they've done in this world for ages. They've been a guiding light. Now, I know there's certain things that you got these conspiracies and rumors, and I know every time, not every Jew does everything perfect. I know that. But as a whole, they do. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I think Trump is going to be one of our... I think he's going to be more pro-Israel than anybody. Now, me saying that, I wish people would just figure it out. He's going to be pro-Israel in a good way. I mean, he's not going to be blatantly, flat out pro-Israel, like, I got to lick your feet, that type of shit. And that was never me. When I was, like I told you, when I was working for like guys that were Jewish and stuff, man, sometimes I told them some shit, they pissed them off. I was like, I thought I was going to get fired a whole bunch of times. But, they didn't realize, after a while, they realized, hey, this kid's honest, but that made me have to work even harder. I was like, screw it, right? But I saved their ass, man, a lot of times, too, to tell you the truth, be honest. A lot of these guys would be probably sunk if I wasn't working for them as their main accountant. It's not that I'm so whiz-bang with accounting. It's like I work very hard, like a good organization skills, and I'm like a bulldog, and I'll just get on something, and I stay on it, till the mission's accomplished. These other assholes take 2 weeks to do something. I'm like 24 hours. It's gotta get done, hell or high water. I was coming home after midnight for years, plus taking work home on the weekends. That's a lot of work. Now, I suspect Trump, he probably knows what I'm talking about. I don't know. I don't know about this guy. I mean, he's kind of like, I can't figure him out exactly 100%. But I know that because I've never really dealt with somebody in his stratosphere, that high up on a person-to-person level. I mean, I've seen information on him and stuff, but yeah, he's somebody who really is dedicated to his business 24 hours. I know anybody even a lesser wealth than him would be dedicated to their business 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Um, yeah, I wasn't like dealing with Leonard Stern personally. I mean, I used to see him sometimes walking around the office once in a while. I used to see his father in there all the time. That was Donald Trump's main competitor up in New York, New Jersey. Harts Mountain Construction. And of course, I've been involved after the Marine Corps in Florida construction. Blah blah, which just still going on. Construction never stops. It never stops. But anyway, I just got to say that. You know, I know people on YouTube the way they think and shit like that, but it's like Trump is not going to be like a John Kerry, just sucking up to Israel because that's political points. Trump is honestly, I think, on Israel's side. I think it's real. And if there's something wrong with the way Israel's doing something, Trump's going to tell them. He's not going to be anti-Israel. He's just going to say, I got a disagreement with you. And I think that's good. I think that's good because you want honest friends. You don't want kiss-ass friends. You don't want those kind of people around. So I kind of feel good about him being in office, to tell you the truth, for this reason, too. Because if the United States is going to be the righteous leader of the world, we really got to be pro-righteous people of the world, which are Jews, the Jewish nation. I know some people are not going to like me saying that, but it's true. It's true. It's maybe not true of every single person that's Jewish, okay? But it's true as an aggregate, no doubt about it, all right? So, other than that, it's just my thoughts on that, and I don't know if this is going to be a popular video, probably not, but whatever, man. I mean, I don't always put out videos to be popular. I knew I wasn't going to be popular when I put that thing out. If I was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, people taking that shit too serious, but not just messing around. But I know she was like too much of a stuffed, calculating skirt. She was not being real with the people. She was a little more connection with the people. That might have been enough to win with her cheating and all that other stuff and the major media being on her side. But everybody takes things too serious, whatever. So anyway, I think Trump's going to do great. And, Jeff Rentz and the other anti-Israel conspiracy clowns out there, they're going to be giving him a lot of shit for freaking being pro-Israel. And I'm like, the hell with those idiots, man. They don't know nothing. Anyway, over and out.